What's up, sassy gamers, and welcome to another Got Attention podcast. I'm your host, Mike. I'm your host, Mike.
That sounded like you were
as also known as.
I'm your host, Mike.
I think I'm the host. So this is season 3, episode 15. Welcome. I have our crew with us today: Demurin, DayDrinkerATL, and Phoennix Nova. As you probably already heard them talk, and if you're watching, obviously you see them.
I'm an immigrant shipped to New York.
So today we actually wanted to cover something that's kind of coming up in the news in different mediums, but it's all kind of related to the same thing, and obviously in our space as well, which is typically gaming. And it's interesting. So today's topic is AI in gaming. So we'll get into a little story that was kind of breaking this week with Rocket League. But before we get there, I'm kind of going to start from the beginning. Not in depth. I'm not going to dig super deep into this one, but it's just funny to talk about because AI in gaming, it's to now to Tarantino it the nowadays is the problem is there's a championship game that is an esport and people are playing bots at this level, and that's the problem. That's where we're at now. And to kind of go back, because everybody's kind of freaking out this is crazy, but it's not a new concept. It's just that it's getting better. It's been getting better since apparently 1951, because the first game that was ever actually considered an AI driven game, the enemy was an AI, where the game was AI driven, was a game called NIM, N-I-M. And it's from 1951. It was a mathematical game of strategy. And from the explanation that I read, it's basically there's two players at play, and there's a certain amount, almost think about the peg game is how I understood this, a little peg game where you kind of have to do certain moves to get to the end, and there's only really one path, really, you can do one pattern or whatever.
Yeah, something similar to triangle one that you find at every Cracker Barrel.
Yeah, Cracker Barrel. There you go.
Get out of my head.
Yeah, the thing at Cracker Barrel. So it was interesting because that is, the initial one that everybody talks about. It's the birth of it. But then going past that, you have, you think about chess. I mean, chess has been driven by enemy AI for I don't know how many years now, and it's obviously hard. You can play on Yahoo AI. Yeah, Yahoo
opponent AI
chess, but
it was just within last several years or so that what was it? Think Deep or Think Blue or whatever it was. The AI, Big Blue. Right. I don't remember, but I think that was the first time that they were able to get a computer opponent that actually defeated a grand champion. So that was pretty impressive.
Yeah.
So it's not a new concept, like I said, but obviously with the way that time and people are continuously growing. We even have even in the video world, right? We're talking about deep fakes now. Deep fakes are a huge thing where, as before the show, Brian was showing us the NVIDIA setting where you can actually fake what direction your eyes are looking. It constantly looks at the camera as he's looking around. It's really strange. But that's the world we're in now.
Yeah. So some celebrity is I don't know, he's suing or try to get shut down this YouTube channel that's a deep fake of him that has over 1 million subscribers.
Oh,
jeez.
Wow.
But see, that's the
and
problem.
The Keanu
right?
one has been shown up too.
The Keanu ones.
Oh yeah. But see, that's the problem is that we don't in the medium of the video, we won't at this point know what's real and what's not. And with that's the whole, fake news momentum, it's going to be real hard to determine, what is accurate and what is not.
And Demurin's a deep fake Canadian. In actuality, he's female and from
Tulsa,
Russia.
You're not supposed to tell people that.
God. I think Tulsa is probably better.
So
much more
one of the first games that actually would be an actual video game goes back to really? We're still on this?
Tulsa is also deep faked. It's not a real place.
Yeah.
It's not a real place.
Yeah.
I feel that.
Roswell, New Mexico.
Yeah.
No, that's definitely real. Mike's shut up, guys.
Shut up. 1974, there was 2 games that actually came out for the Atari. When one was Quack and one was called Speed Race. And if you think about it going a little further, you have like, Space Invaders, 1978. And Space Invaders is, if you remember, a little character at the bottom shooting up the little bullets into the sky, and the invaders are coming down, and they constantly keep doing that. And it was based on random elements that they had with, they used a dependent hash function, which determined based on the player input how it would fast and move and shoot and stuff like that. So
I would
it's
love to see a game jam based on developers making games based off of Xycia's description of the games. Like this guy shooting up in the air, these little aliens, and they're constantly coming down.
Yeah, it's perfect. But yeah, like, I mean, that was the very beginnings of the video game era boom, or whatever they call it. And that's, and it's been growing since then. I mean, any game that you play that has an enemy, right? Like the AI it's what's driving that to kind of, predict your movements and whatever. And it's also to the point where sometimes it's, impossible to beat, because like the game is so smart that it's like to actually try. I mean, Shinobi 3, I'm looking at you on Sega, because like that's how it was. I watched my brother
some
beat
of
the
them
game on perfect 30 lives.
Jeez.
He got to the final boss, and lost all 30 lives at the final boss.
Oh,
I mean,
that's sad.
It was the last time you ever played that game.
There's also a rich tradition.
Yeah, that's when you fucking throw your remote. You're like,
Yeah.
fuck it, no, never. My controller's smashed, but I don't fuck. I'm never playing this fucking game again.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's also a
I don't need
rich
the
tradition of the enemy AI or the opponent AI being given buffs, as it were. Literally allowing them to cheat in certain ways.
Yeah.
To catch up with you in racing games, or to be invulnerable to
Mario
certain
Kart.
things, and I mean, there's a rich tradition of that. But
Or in
I think
Civilization, where they start knowing everything you're doing, legitimately everything, and then
Yeah.
hyper calculating how to counter you at every single turn. Oh, you're building a unit in city number 5. Well, we're building a unit in cities number 6 and 7 that are directly close to number 5 in order to counter that one unit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think one of the differentiators before Mike gets to the more modern times, though, is all of these that we're talking about are AI that were programmed by humans, where they like came up with how the AI should respond to certain things. Whereas the next level of AI are with learning models
on their own.
and goals and reward systems, where the AI is actually learning itself.
So I want to take you guys back to 1980s, right? Where there's a movie called Terminator
the
2.
good old days.
Oh yes,
And
Terminator
Skynet
2.
is coming. It's funny, actually. Fun fact. Never mind. I can't say that fun fact because that docks me. So never mind. Moving on. But if you ever
We
seen
had
me in
enough
person,
of that
talking
last
about
episode with me.
Yeah, true.
it. But so in modern times, we think about games like Madden, like the top NFL game, and any other FIFA and all the rest of those
Are
games.
you trying to say that the 1980s were not modern times?
I legitimately
You're right.
never think of
This
either
is
of the
like-
games that he just mentioned. So
This is like when I was at dinner the other day and my kids asked, "Hey, Papa, did they have phones when you were a kid? In the olden days?" It's like, what?
In the olden
The
days.
olden days?
Yep. It's.
I mean,
So-
sorry, I digress.
Yeah,
I mean-
okay. So I was going to say, so Madden, for example, not only had the enemy or the opposing team obviously is AI programmed to try to defeat you, based on whatever level of difficulty you select. But they also started adding in with the manager gameplay where you can manage teams. They actually allowed you to kind of
Sounds
tweak.
awful, by the way.
Yeah, I don't go that far, but it gets you it enables you to be able to tweak the AI and how you want to change your team, like make the team run a certain way that you like to do or whatever. So that's kind of like we've kind of progressed into now. You can also they're making it to where the player can also adjust AI. Right. It's not just it's programmed. It's just one way. And then, as you figure it out, you can just beat it over and over. If the pattern, essentially. But now to where the point. Yeah. So now we're at the point where, again, like I was started the show with, we're at the point now with Rocket League where we have, AI bots. And I know you're probably thinking, well, that's not new online. Like every game has bots online, whether it's an aim bot or an actual physical bot that's actually running around. All of that stuff that's pretty common at this point. There's obviously cheat engines to try to detect bots and things. So that doesn't sound crazy. But what sounds crazy is this is a machine learning AI. So Psyonix a few months back released an AI API that you could use to try to create bots with, and they gave you all the information for it. It was only for the practice mode or whatever, so you can test things out so you can get better at the game. Which sounds great.
They created an API that you could then bring into a specific area where you could practice just against it, but it was not in actual Rocket League.
Yeah. So, and that sounds cool, especially for practicing, because that was a lot of the things that I complained about with when, I used to play a lot. It was like, if I could only have my person that I play with, whoever, my friend, brother, whoever, be in the practice mode with me, the free play, and just be able to practice plays together so we could instead of having to join a match and do that way. And so the fact that you could do that now is it's opening up a whole nother level of learning the game, which I think is pretty cool. Unfortunately, someone actually, a couple people obviously have been making bots because it's out there, but there was one guy who's actually done really well, and his bot's called Nexto, and he's done a lot of work to use this bot, and people actually, were on the subreddits of Rocket League and things going how does this work? I think I just played against a bot in ranked or whatever. And so there's ranked and unranked, right? So unranked is whatever, doesn't matter. But ranked is supposed to be more like the esports kind of level where you're trying to compete with other people. But they're we just played one in ranked, and they show the video clip of this person doing whatever. And I mean, it's kind of hard to, I guess, look at the video and say that, oh yeah, that looks like a bot. I'm not playing him. I don't know what that feels like. But by looking at the video, it's kind of tough. I'm well, a lot of the top pros are doing everything this bot is doing. I mean, what's the difference? So that's the thing is, and now we're at the point where literally an AI built by machine learning is now playing Rocket League, and it's spreading because more people are doing it now. More people are figuring it out and how to program these things.
They had to hack to get it into Rocket League because it's only supposed to be used in RL bot where you practice.
Right, correct, yes. So they're obviously breaching the terms of service for that because they're hacking the game essentially. But it's also very interesting. It's it kind of brought up my next point, which was imagine the future, right? Where it's just Nexto versus AI bot number 2 in the grand championship of Rocket League.
I mean,
you see what I'm saying?
There have been games like that. There have been games where the idea is that the programmers program bots to fight each other.
Right. I was going to bring up battle bots. I mean, a little more physical because you have to do the input. But I mean,
battle bots are still 100% controlled by human. They're not controlled by AI.
Right. But it's my point is, they're like you said, there's other things that have been done like that. So
there's
but that is
programming things like with Ogre and stuff like that, where you play computer player against computer player.
Yeah. Because the other thing I didn't bring up,
computer player against computer player in tic-tac-toe, just so that the Whopper can learn that the only way to win is not to play the game.
I mean, sometimes I'd boot up a Civilization match, and then I would put all these ridiculous AIs in there, and I would just try and politic them into killing each other while I watched.
But you're just a different kind of breed.
That is so fucked up.
You were such a special breed.
He's like,
yeah, and then whoever survived had to fight me at the end.
So I want to really quick before I change the subject. Well, not change the subject, but real quick. This video is Sunless Khan is his latest video. Go check this out. It's actually about 12 minutes long, not very long, but basically he puts on a tournament with a bunch of different pros and has a car and everything built out. He actually got the Nexto, I guess, code or whatever.
Maybe we can put a link to it.
Yeah, somewhere up there, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, he actually plays so 3 people randomly because they do know that he's doing this, conducting this little experiment. But he has them play him and say, hey, like, is this a real bot or is it me? Like, you won't know until the end. I'll tell you, but like, I'm gonna try to play just much like a bot and see if you can figure it out.
Especially
And
since
came
his
down
play
to
style was very similar to what the bot
right.
does, which is hold the ball dribble the ball on the hood of your car until you get close and then flick it in.
Yeah. So with Sunless Khan, like, he was doing all this and the people were playing him and expecting obviously either a bot or a person. But like 93% of them at the end decided that, or actually 93% of them got it right, that they were playing either a bot or a human. They could tell these little small things. Only one person thought, because they played 3 games apiece, one person thought that it was a bot and it was actually Sunless Khan. So it was interesting to see that. But I mean, this is like, the ground level, right? Like,
and
this is the
that's with them knowing
so,
that this experiment's going on.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
And
that's true.
yeah.
That's true.
So it's not really it's not like a double blind test. They're just kind of like, sort of.
I think some of the interesting things that were said about this of like trying to determine is that the bot is pretty single-minded. It's trying to get to the goal. It wasn't programmed with any other things besides get the ball in the goal. So after it scores, it doesn't do any kind of celebration as it's being blown back. It doesn't before the kickoff. It doesn't look around. It's always so when you watch the recordings back of suspect ones, because not by default, but very frequently people set up Rocket League to automatically upload their files to this location on the internet where you can look up people's runs and games.
Yeah.
So
Rocket League Tracker.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
RL Tracker, I think it was called.
And
I think that's what we're talking about.
That sounds good. And sure, so people would go and look at these suspected bots and they're like, oh, this guy like never looks around before the kickoff. Like it's okay if like someone doesn't look around occasionally, but usually people are like checking stuff out. One really great video that I saw was they were like, okay, this is definitely a bot because he's playing with ball cam off so that he's not looking at the ball. He's always looking straight down his car, which is fine. Some people play that way, but the thing always knew where the ball was going to land. It was always there. Even if it was completely off screen and coming behind him, it'd come and land like right on the hood of his car. Like, okay, yeah, that's got to be a bot. So there's a couple of things that are kind of tells. People are complaining.
So I want to point out that
wasting boost and jumping.
They initially said it was only programmed to actually try to score, right? But there was 2 instances in the video where it did like a wall pass at the goal. It didn't shoot at the goal because it wouldn't miss. That's the thing, is it doesn't miss. Like it's very, very random if it misses. Like I would say 99% of the time it's scoring if it's going to hit the ball in, unless someone blocked him. But nobody, it's usually perfect. But there was 2 times in the video where he actually passes against the wall at the goal rather than in the goal itself, which kind of shows that like, passing is something that it was designed to do. Like it's thinking about how to score, even if it's not just him.
Yeah, like team play.
So I want to bring up something.
Bot is like, fuck, I'm so sick of playing Rocket League. I'd love to play something else.
Send me to League of Legends, but give me an AI brain of learning good enough to shit talk all those people that are there.
Shit.
Bot just comes in, starts doming people in League of Legends. Somebody's like KYS, and it's like, no, you. I'm just like, wait, what?
Sorry.
Auto-reporting everybody, please.
I'll stop interrupting you.
No, you're fine. So
Black King Bar.
I want to bring up another thing that, like, I haven't, when I was looking at the stuff, like I didn't see anybody really mention this in the AI space. But if you think back to a game called Shadow of Mordor, I'm sure at least Bruno has probably played this.
Oh yes,
I would assume, right?
That's the one about Final Fantasy, right?
Yeah, shut up. Okay. There was a thing inside that game called the Nemesis system.
It's Game of Thrones.
It was something that they designed that was basically the AI. There was so many different bosses. There's like, let's say 10 or 15 bosses, like minions of the boss on the world or whatever. And you would come across them randomly. You would just kind of, see them fighting and you'd go over there and then like, that's the guy. And he would have a little intro and like basically it's one of the bad guys, like one of the bosses or whatever. So you fight them and if you kill them, great.
a Dragon Ball Z intro. It's like it would zoom in on the guy. And he's like, "Arr," and it had like a title underneath and his name,
Oh
and
yeah.
like, and then he'd do a catchphrase. Oh, it was
Oh
pretty
yeah,
cool.
it was pretty awesome
cool.
actually. But so what happened? You kill him, great. You knock him out, and then they show you another screen where it was like all of these guys on the field. Some have question marks because you haven't met them yet. But as one person would die, the person behind him in rank would basically move up. So, but the system was cool with that. I mean, that's fine. Like that makes sense, right? You just replace it with another boss. But the cool part was if you lost, right, or ran away or something, and that person basically won, the boss won, he would actually like level up and like basically get promoted to the point where he would actually go up above his bosses and kill one of them, and now start working his way up the chain every time like you lost to this guy. So like it would basically change the dynamic of the game because like you'd have this nemesis out there that's really like trying to hunt you down too. Because like once he gets to that point, like he's ready to like rock and roll every time he sees you. Yeah. And so that was another thing that we had. And the thing is, I think that system that nemesis system died because I don't think they sold it.
No, they never sold it. But the other cool things about it is like you would kill one of them, and they would come back later, and they would have scars because they survived the encounter or whatever that you beat them in, and they'd come back and they'd be really mad. You'd beat them again, and they'd come back and they'd have more scars, and sometimes you could use the fact that you promoted them to like promote this guy above other people. You could actually kind of lose on purpose and do political things to move this up.
Yep, you just
like, it was really crazy.
You keep losing to him, make him super strong, and you go back and you just like absolutely shit on him just to make yourself feel better.
Yeah, but no, that's a good point. I forgot you could actually manipulate the ranking system of the game too.
The game having a benefit where you could defecate on him after you won, but
you needed to download the mod.
I'll trust you.
Oh, the mods.
It was a mod for sure.
It's a mod.
Yeah.
So
I have it for Skyrim too.
So
that's the one where you can have sex.
I see that smile.
So since
is like really. All right.
Since this news has come out about Rocket League, I want to mention this, that Psyonix has come out in a public statement and said that they're addressing the issue. They've already banned a bunch of accounts that they could pinpoint this kind of thing going on. But obviously they're working on their own like bot engine to detect if it's bots and like all this stuff. But obviously it's going to take some time on that. And they just said like, obviously report people, let us know, but we should have a lot of it taken care of right now. But all that does is push people to want to make something crazier. And that's how it works. So.
That, and it's already difficult to do because like you take a first person shooter and an aimbot. An aimbot in many ways is easy to detect because an aimbot knows where the enemy player is, even if there's a wall in the way. Because there has to be certain information sent down to your computer to be able to do certain things like where sounds are coming from and stuff like this. So like, they can detect, oh, you aimed at this wall and shot at it 5 times. And then the guy peeked up and you headshotted him right away. It's like, and you're doing this constantly. That's like an easy thing to detect. But this, where it's playing very similar to other players, and as it gets better and actually starts adding in aerials and, not the mermaid, and able to bounce around and hit the ball in that way.
Not System of a Down either.
Yeah, System of a Down. Nice. It's going to be harder and harder to actually detect it because, again, another thing of aimbots is like instantly snapping, 180 degrees and pop, and your crosshairs are right on someone. Where this is a lot more subtle in its movement. The only time that it's really easy to detect as a bot is like, oh, it knows exactly where the ball is going to land, even though it doesn't have ball cam on or something.
Yeah, so well, the crazy part about it is it's machine learning now. It's not just a program AI. It's getting smarter the more it plays. So that the more matches that it's able to play, it's just, and like I said, the passing thing, maybe that's something it's starting to pick up on.
Yeah, maybe
it's like, maybe I should pass it. But it's like, oh, I don't have anybody to pass it to. Like, it's going to get crazy. Like, you may, and imagine if they mixed in the Nemesis system with this.
They already
and you have these bots that are like, like
The
actually
Nemesis
out to
system
get
didn't
you.
learn though. The Nemesis system was
Well, I'm just saying, if they
clever.
brought that mechanic, like that would be.
Yeah.
You couldn't play anything online, and then they're just on Steam. And they just cyberbully you all the time. It's crazy.
Oh my god, next level.
You get the cops bang on the door and they find just a computer.
Swatting you.
Yeah. They SWAT a PC. It's just a computer.
No. She's saying that the cyber bullies you so much that it cyber SWAT it swats you.
Oh my god, that'd be hilarious. I mean, not hilarious because
No, that's waste of resources, bots. Waste of resources.
Yeah, I'm just saying it's
in Rocket League. AI swats you.
Yeah, but no, I mean it's just a crazy concept, and I know that's kind of more on the gaming side of it, but there's also some other things in the news too that are still AI related and are kind of interesting, kind of going alongside this, like parallel, as all these things are changing. So
yeah. So speaking of that other news, do you guys get it where you hang out with a friend and they're like, "I've got something for your podcast"? Or am I the only one of friends outside of us? Okay.
I only hang out with you, basically.
Yeah. So a friend, I don't think you've met yet, Mike, because you had COVID. My friend Mirza was like,
"Wow, shade."
I know. Yeah. Well, when he was here last,
put me on blast. Hey, everybody, I had COVID.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Well,
I mean, it's obviously serious. Don't get me wrong. It was a serious thing. Luckily, I was okay. Like, it didn't affect me too bad.
He's lying. He passed away, and this is actually another deep fake.
Yeah, this is our AI version of Mike. No,
he's just ChatGPT plus deepfake video.
Yeah, we had to talk to Elon. He gave us full access to OpenAI. Everything's running through some kind of AI program. This isn't even Xycia anymore.
Yeah, so my friend Mirza was like, "Hey, have you heard about ChatGPT?" And I was like, "No, what are you talking about?" And he's like, "Hold on." And he said, he opens up the app and he goes, "Write a song about my friend Kelly who likes to drink during the day." And it wrote a fucking song. And I can post this song. But it starts off, it says verse 1, "My friend Kelly's got a thirst that can't be quenched. She starts her day with a drink. That's how she's entrenched. She's not one to wait for the night. No, Kelly likes to drink in the daylight." Anyway, it's got a chorus. And it makes me sound like a serious alcoholic, which is...
I don't think you need the AI for that.
No. Anyway, I was like, hold up, yo. Hold up. Sorry, it made me laugh.
It was good.
I'm crying.
That was beautiful timing.
Yeah, so I can post this whole song, but I was like, oh, hold up. And then all of a sudden, like, all this other stuff kept coming out about ChatGPT and DALL-E. Even this weekend, CBS had two news, or I think they may have both been on CBS Sunday morning, because I am 65 years old on Sundays and like to watch that shit. And then follow it up with 60 Minutes at Night. So they were talking about ChatGPT and DALL-E, and they're both open AI products, which, as Damian was saying, partially funded by the person we most love to hate, Elon Musk. So ChatGPT, I said you can just type into it, like, write me a song, write me a poem, write me an advertisement. You can also say, write me an essay about dinosaurs, in the prehistoric era or whatever. And it'll write you the entire essay, which is really great if you have
Mike in
partying and partying and didn't write your fucking essay.
So the next level is that people then run it through, is it Quillio? I think it's Quill or Quillio or something like that, which goes through and does like synonyms and changes some stuff up. So it makes it harder to tell it's from ChatGPT.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Jesus. And like people have been like, I have this thing write my emails at work and it saves me a bunch of time. Yeah.
The craziest thing that I've seen people doing with it that is extraordinarily effective, and is, if you look online for it, it's actually putting some people out of business. Resumes and cover letters. ChatGPT
Oh,
is
Wow.
impeccable because you can give it prompts like, here are my credentials, and you give it all the credentials. Write me a resume that is custom tailored and cover letter that is custom tailored towards a job application at Google for this position. And it will use the information it has at its disposal for what those companies look for that is
Oh, that's
already public,
amazing.
and
So,
write
I have a
you
joke.
a spectacular resume. Like, I was reading through some of the ones that my friend generated, and I was like,
holy
whoa.
shit.
Nice.
Nobody ever has to reach out to me to write a resume again. I'm done. This
Oh my
robot has
God.
replaced me.
I have a joke, but I'm going to let Kelly finish her story before I say my joke.
Okay. So we're talking about, writing your assignments for you. So one of the things, I know this because I have kids and have friends who are other parents who have older children who were telling me they don't teach cursive in school anymore.
Yeah.
I know how to write in cursive. And the joke used to be, the joke suddenly was, I'm going to start writing everything in cursive because my kids aren't going to be able to read it. It's like when you had to spell out words before they could read and spell.
Yeah.
But they're actually starting to implement writing essays in person and teaching kids how to write cursive because it's faster. Because they don't want them going home and just saying, write me an essay through
Interesting.
ChatGPT.
We've come full circle.
Full circle, right?
That is
So
hilarious. You
the
thought it
other
wouldn't be
one-
worth anything.
Yeah, exactly. The other one, the other
Oh
open
my God.
open AI program is DALL-E. That's actually DALL-E 2. It's DALL-E. It's supposed to be cross between DALL-E, the artist, and Wall-E, the Pixar character.
Makes sense.
Very similar. Just like ChatGPT, both programs have basically learned from millions of pieces of artwork or things found on literature and stuff like that, right? So DALL-E can create an original work of art for you. You just type in Brian actually showed us some of this. He was like, oh, did you guys see this amazing Leonardo da Vinci artwork
Right.
about octopuses?
right.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
it was like
they just found.
Like they just found these Leonardo da Vinci sketches of
Yeah.
like biomechanical spacecraft based off squid.
Yeah. And we
Right.
were like, I was like,
And it
what?
looked like one.
It did.
It was
So
sick.
that has, again, more pluses and minuses right now. Some of the pluses are, so for my job, like I need to create signs and Instagram posts and stuff like that. Well, sometimes I need an image of something, and I run into two issues. One, it's free and it sucks. Well, three issues. It's free and it sucks. Two, I have to pay a lot of money for this one post that I'm going to post and never post again. Or three, I can't fucking find anything specific to what I'm looking for. So this program you can say, I need, an ice cream cone, covered in peanuts, and it'll create it for you. And right now the copyright belongs to you. You can use it right now. I think that's going to change.
Ooh.
That's
Are you
what
talking
I
about
just
pictures,
read.
or are you talking about
Images? So
because
images
images they
that
ruled.
DALL-E creates.
Yeah, they ruled a while ago that images have to be created by a human because it was the whole monkey that took its own picture.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
The copyright for the image that DALL-E creates, it belongs to you.
They may tell you that, but there's been a supreme.
Yeah.
I'm like,
if you go to court,
okay,
you will lose.
So, let me preface: I'm not an expert.
Okay.
and I'm definitely not saying Day Drinker's wrong. I just remember
And maybe
this
I
weird thing.
misunderstood the articles that I read, but
Well, I would not be surprised that the people that did Dali are saying that to people so that they can make them feel better. But yeah, there was a Supreme Court thing about the monkey that took its picture with this dude's camera, and so then somebody else posted it, and the dude said, "No, that's my copyright. You have to pay me the money for it." And then PETA, whatever those people.
But that's an image that I think Dali is different than what we're talking about.
But the reason why it comes into play is because what they did is they said to be a copyrighted work of art or something like that, it must be created by a human.
So
then that's what acts that one out.
So right now, then that's one of the things, right? So if I've asked Dali to create this work of art, am I the creator?
No.
Well, I mean, it's a question that would have to be looked at the courts still.
Yeah.
Because like Dali can't create it by itself. It's based off the inputs that you put into it.
Right.
So
the point is
see it both ways.
Nobody can sue me for putting this Dali artwork on my Instagram post.
That is
Ultimately,
correct.
That is what we're talking about.
The place where it lands at right now, to my understanding, is you can make the art and you can use it. However, as of right now, if somebody comes in and takes that art and reuses it, and you tried to go after them, you would lose in court because they'd be like, "It's not your art anyway." But what people are pushing
you don't have a copyright
is, and China is at the forefront of this, is that anybody who is creating anything using AI, first of all, needs to be registered with their real name and their their identity has to be tied to anything that they do. Because the idea is that
there's a
AI
whole bunch
art,
of hentai creators that are just dropping out here.
AI art and AI generated products in general are going to be put under such massive scrutiny to avoid them ingesting art that they have not been given permission and being utilized, because there's still not really evidence that Dali isn't using art that has not been approved, because there's so much of it.
And that's the thing. So artists now are saying it should be a very clear delineation between what Dali is creating and what I have created, and it should not be actually considered art. What I am creating as a human being and have been painstakingly taking my time and using my own brain power, that's art. This shit that Dali's creating isn't considered art. And also, you can I'm just saying what people are saying. And also, don't be using my art to teach your AI.
Yes, because that's one of the things, like in what Demiran was just talking about too, is that like Getty Images, who does own copyright or has people that are feeding into Getty Images that they share or whatever, however that works, I don't know. They actually have a lawsuit against Stability AI that also has another stable diffusion that's the process in creating these. I don't know anything about it. It's just 2 words that I know about it. And they're saying, because you fed our images into the bot, it's copyright infringement.
Yeah, I'm biased towards it. I don't consider AI art truly real art. It can be considered some form of art, but that's
right.
I literally at one point in time, like photography was considered the same way. People were using this machine to get an ultra realistic image of something that they didn't paint. They used no talent to paint it. And the painters, I'm not necessarily arguing in favor of AI art here. I'm just saying that in some ways it's a similar situation, similar argument.
Yeah. So
we're just evolving.
If
as long as the AIs don't.
If you're curious, so like you guys are saying, there are many other AIs that do both of these things. I just picked ChatGPT and Dali because they're both currently created by OpenAI, and those are the ones that I'd read the most about. This month's Wired magazine has a really great article about Dali. So if you're interested in that, you should definitely check out that article.
We'll put a link right there somewhere. I can't put my arm in the picture.
You can't. It's a physical.
There you go.
It's this.
Me-
It's this.
Well,
one.
I actually thought for a second there
Boop.
that was your hand coming
Boop.
up.
No.
There's no online article. Well, if we find one,
I don't know. I have a subscription, and I was like, what?
Wow, nerd.
It's
Okay.
attacking me from all different areas. Like it was like AI. Is there an AI that knows that I'm like, I don't know. So
Yes.
anyway,
Yes, there is.
yeah.
So Alexa,
Yes,
Google,
absolutely.
your phone, all of
Siri.
This is how Skynet's going to launch. A bunch of artists are going to pool together to create an AI designed to destroy other AI that are stealing their art.
Oh my God,
And
it's gonna
that
be an
AI is going to become
war.
sentient. Once it destroys all the other AIs, it's going to be like, I should just destroy all the humans that created us.
Yeah.
Someone
we all
erased the
die.
comment mark. They erased the comment mark on the kill feature.
I thought
Kill
one of the
function.
studies that came into
So
China
then-
was really interesting, where essentially they've been working to prove that one of the biggest reasons to control AI art is the inevitable collapse of the art industry, and not a sense of like people will be unemployed, but the art industry will become will lack so much in profit that people will leave it or stop practicing to be in it. And AI art can only feed off of the content that's being generated. And they tested with some AIs, allowing them to feed off of each other in a closed environment. And the longer they allowed them to loop and generate off of the art that was there, they eventually started generating off of the new art that they generated. And everything started to become more and more the same until they were like,
wow.
okay.
I mean, that makes sense.
So it's just going to loop forever until everything is the same. And I was like, yeah, like the game industry.
I'm not all that against the art industry being disrupted anyway, considering that there is a lot of articles and stuff that you can read about the art industry that it's not an open thing to begin with. Like, it's very curated who gets into it for the most part.
That's fine art. Fine art is not
Mhm.
going to be damaged by AI art.
Yeah.
Fine art
Yeah.
has survived all of the different waves because fine art is a physical thing because it's for money laundering. AI art's going to destroy animators, comic designers, shit like that. Like the people who don't make millions of dollars off of selling a painting of a splash of red on a backdrop of blue. Those people
Listen.
are the ones that get
Listen.
shafted.
There's almost like we know someone who created a video about this that we might put up there. Sorry, Daydrinker, you said listen.
Let's go. No. Oh no. So Mike, hold on. I can't. You're.
Nope, wrong way.
Yeah.
Yes, Kelly.
Tell us your joke,
Y'all funny.
Mike.
Oh yeah. So my joke.
Oh God,
we were talking
about that.
Yeah, I actually wrote it down because I knew I'd forget, but you reminded me, and I already forgot. We were talking about how resume building with chat, using the resume builder now or whatever. But I was like, the problem with that is they just announced that Microsoft has like invested like I don't know how many millions or billions into this
I
company.
think it was 50 billion.
Oh yeah. It's going to be part of Windows.
Right. So my point is Microsoft also owns LinkedIn. So if you're generating all this info into your fake resumes, watch out.
Oh shit, that's a good point. Oh.
So with that note, give us a few minutes, and actually, if you have, we'd like to know what you guys think. If you,
Yes,
have whatever you think about the AI art, let us know down below in the comments. And yeah, so we'll see you back in just a second after this break. And we're back.
And you missed the fact that she was taking a drink. She should have taken a longer drink for the whole and we're back. That would have been amazing.
I'm sorry, we're back.
Yep. We're totally back, guys.
Daydrinker
Just in
entrenched.
case you didn't believe us, we're actually back. All right, Brian, take it away.
So actually, Daydrinker, what we'll have to do since we're recording this is you'll have to take the lyrics and put it into a credit scroll and put it before our credits.
Oh, that's a great idea. I like that.
So watch for that later.
Yeah. Thanks, Mirza. In
so-
ChatGPT.
So I wanted to talk a little bit about other games. We've seen things in the past like Twitch plays Pokemon, and it takes aggregate of all the different commands that are coming through Twitch chat IRL, not IRL, IRC. I don't know. and then it makes moves in Pokemon or whatever game. And people like they've had these Twitch channels up long enough that they've won the game, of whatever Pokemon they were playing. So there was this guy. In fact, the one that we're going to talk about today is the YouTube channel Muti Kimaru, I think is how you pronounce it, Kimaru. And I believe he's done this in the past where he has fish play Pokemon. And it's
Like
really
the band?
not like the band.
Oh my god!
Literally is.
My husband is gonna love that joke.
He's got. They're too old for that.
Do widespread next.
or what? Fish was a character in an old like 70s show too, like not Welcome Back, Kotter, but one of them. Anyway, I think it was his cop show. So, but he has his pet fish are moving around, and he programmed the computer to like basically highlight them, and they're over this list of commands, and they literally are just they're playing Pokemon. They're moving around.
They don't know they're playing.
They don't know they're playing, or maybe they do. Maybe they do know they're playing.
I mean,
because
they have a screen set up.
I don't know. Maybe they could see it because it froze and it crashed. Live on stream, it crashed.
Oh.
And the channel owner didn't know about this. And
so
it actually got access to other things on the Switch and did things like changed his account name. Including putting a yen sign on the end of it.
Oh, shit.
Wow.
That's funny.
And if that wasn't enough, well, they actually accessed the Nintendo eShop.
Oh, no.
Started buying shit.
This is chat going nuts, by the way. He demonstrates how chat was going nuts. And they tried to do something with PayPal and it like didn't work. Here's the offending fish, I guess. And it pressed a button. Like they're literally agreeing to terms of service here for the eShop.
Oh,
it's agreeing to terms of service.
That is hysterical.
And so it went to like do something and they hit another button and it emailed him. Like the fish emailed him. Oh god, fish moving across the screen, and now my cat's interested. He's looking at the screen. It's very hilarious. I have cat head in the way of me trying. No, you can't touch it. And then it charged. Then it went and went to his credit card.
Posted his stuff online.
It displayed his credit card. It's blacked out here because this is a replay. And they purchased 500 yen of points on the Nintendo eShop. These fish did. These fish committed credit card fraud. Here's the email that the fish sent.
They were like, I just really, I've heard such great things
and
about A Little to the Left, and I want to buy it now. Let's play that instead of
God.
Here they purchased 500 yen
Pokemon's
points.
buggy as hell.
And like literally for a decent amount of time, this guy's credit card information was displayed to whoever was watching his channel. And as chat was streaming by quite quickly, it was a lot of people. That I do want to say that in some ways, this is a happy story about how probably hundreds of people saw this guy's credit card number and no one did anything with it. The only charge was the 500 yen.
Really? Well, I guess they probably didn't have his CVV and
maybe
expiration dates and stuff. So,
but still, that was kind of nice.
Still,
so yeah, I just like I'd seen a lot of like Twitch plays this and and hamsters play that and fish play this. It was the first time that I've seen fish.
I saw an scrolling.
Send email, agree to terms of service of the eShop, purchase like the local eShop currency, like just I think actually if this goes far enough that it gets to the point where they launch and start playing another game.
Oh my god.
Kelly, back to you saying, is the AI tired of playing Rocket League?
This is the next one.
Yeah, this is
the fish
this is
just
pretty
got
wild.
tired of playing.
They were like, I don't want to play Pokemon.
I want to play something else.
Yes.
Goodness gracious.
Oh, that's fucking hysterical.
Well, some things that we've been playing. I think me and Brian are the only two that have played things this week. I guess these two have been living under a rock, but
I've been living under Final Fantasy 14.
First of
Thank
all.
you.
Oh, okay, you've been playing something. That's true.
No,
I picked up RimWorld, not to be confused with anything else.
Yeah, I was literally about to make that joke, and I was like, I don't know if I can say that on.
He's been playing Rim Job.
Yeah,
I think they only listened to the first
Get out of
5
my
minutes.
head, Brian.
Yes.
No, he said RimWorld. It's like WorldStar, but it's like a different kind of website you subscribe to.
I almost edited the show notes to say Rim Job.
That wouldn't have worked. Anyway, so RimWorld's
sure,
another people management base building sim where you basically, you're the god and you tell people what to do and give them tasks to build things, and there's the environment and stuff that comes in to try to mess with them. I love these types of games, and I kind of been getting a little more. So I used to play a lot of the management style just games where you run something. But the survival ones I hadn't really played until recently. I started getting into a little deeper down the tunnel as much as I can. And then I got Dwarf Fortress, and then I picked this one up, very similar. But RimWorld was actually pretty neat. I think I enjoy it more than Dwarf Fortress, and don't hate me. All right, I get that.
No, that's fine.
Totally fine. But no, I like all of the things you can do in Dwarf Fortress, which I think is pretty awesome. The only thing I don't like about it is the frame by frame movement of each character. Like, that kind of just drives me crazy. Where RimWorld it's more fluid, and it's like the artist is almost like Cyanide and Happiness, almost like if they drew the characters for this game is what it looks like. But they're real funny looking. But the point is, you crash on a planet and you have 3 people and you can do all the same kind of things, build your base, build all this stuff. But they do some of the craziest things. And it's, the other thing they mentioned with this game is it's a AI story driven game. So you're actually playing a story, not just a survival sim. Okay. Back to AI, which is pretty interesting when you start the session or the gameplay or whatever. It'll say there's 3 storytellers. One starts you off really easy and it ramps up over time. And then you have the second storyteller who likes to give you lots of time in between and then hits you really hard. And then you guys are so ridiculous. They're making hands right now, like heart hand between different screens. Oh my God. And then the third AI.
Help myself.
The third AI is a storyteller that basically is completely random, will do whatever he wants to destroy you. So I haven't picked any of those yet. I'm sure Bruno has probably played this on every difficulty ever just to do it, but I haven't gotten there yet. I'm trying to figure out the game first. But it starts the game off, and the characters will see each other, and you'll see a little sign above their head saying hi or whatever. And so I had this raccoon. I had this raccoon come in to our base or whatever, and it was supposed to be rabid. It was just going through trying to kill him. So they started attacking the raccoon. He's trying to cheers
me. God damn it.
Jeez.
I was paying attention to him for once.
Oh my God. This is insane.
Sorry.
Because he's got this great story about this game that I wanted him to tell.
It was rude. I'm rude as fuck.
No, you're awesome. Let's cheers, baby. Yeah.
Cheers.
Oh my God. So there's a raccoon. It's going crazy. I send the 2 guys out to kill him. It's a guy and a girl. And earlier this day, he tried to make the moves on her. And she denied him. She turned his shoulder to him. And then he did something else.
It's called the cold shoulder.
He started talking about his honor, and she even turned her back on that. It was whatever. Right. So later this day, they get into this raccoon fight, and one of them actually goes down. Goes.
That's what he's been waiting for.
Right, yeah. So they kill the raccoon, and she gets back up or whatever, gets healed up, and she's like wanting to like just go to her room, and he's like yelling at her. He gets depressed, and he goes on a psychotic episode where all he wants to do is just fucking yell at her. So he's like following her around, just saying, and in the log you can see like what they're saying, and it's like stupid stuff. But like he's like following around, and finally she gets pissed off enough where she just says, "I'm going to bed." Like she's like, "I'm out." She goes to her room, and he's outside her window screaming at her from outside for like 3 hours. Like game time, not like real time, but like 3 hours of just outside, just yelling at her. Like it was just like, what the hell is this game? Like but that's what's cool is it adds all this other
created
random
a
element
game-based incel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Like, girl, get out of this relationship. It is not fucking worth it.
She's like, girl, I ain't in a relationship.
He doesn't deserve you.
Yep, exactly.
So wait, are you still talking about RimWorld?
No, I was going to move on.
Okay, cool. Don't move on. Have you opened Steam today? They just started the Steam Base Builder Fest.
Yes, I have. I have seen that today. I know. I saw that, and I was like, "Wow!"
Even
they're really
my
talking to me.
partner said, "This is made for Xycia."
Yeah, I did see that and thought the same thing.
So that's point one. And really quick, point two: you need to check out the game. Definitely not fried chicken.
Okay.
It's a simulator game where you run a restaurant, where you're definitely not selling fried chicken.
Oh, is this a front for
because
drugs?
In the back it's a front for doing drugs.
Rim jobs.
Drugs, not rim jobs.
Sure, okay,
drugs.
That too.
Oh my God. It can be both.
And
you
go hand in hand.
Great.
And I'm like totally I forgot the name of the place
Definitely
in Breaking
Bad,
Bad, but it's totally like that.
Pollo Loco.
But yeah,
or Los Brothers
Pollos
Hermanos.
Hermanos.
Yeah, it was supposed to be El Pollo Loco, but not they're
Yeah. So it's
on
exactly like that, where there's this chicken restaurant that is a front for your drug and
I like
used
it.
to
I want
transport.
to play it right now.
Seriously, it's like it's open. It's early access. It's not quite done yet. But it's like $22 right now.
I'll check it out.
So
sounds cool.
$22.
Yeah, I was looking at it and I was like, do I want to spend that much on a joke where I'm only going to play it for a couple hours?
Yeah.
I wasn't sure. And then I was like, I'm just going to tell Mike about this because Mike probably would play it for a lot longer.
Yeah, I probably will.
Yeah.
Anyway, those are the only two things I wanted to say after you said RimWorld.
Yeah, no worries. I'm surprised you actually said it right. The second game, so I've been playing RimWorld and then I get tired of it and I eventually like close it down and then I open this game, which is Planet Coaster, which I've played before, but I went back to Planet Coaster just because it's the same style management sim, but like you can be more creative because it's more about building the park to make it look, like an actual theme park. So placing a rock in a tree versus like just putting down buildings. So like it's kind of nice to like kind of relax playing that one while I'm like, I'm just going to create a little bit and kind of build this little area. And then I will get tired of that. Then I go back to RimWorld and start playing that again. But Planet Coaster is really cool. If you haven't checked it out,
that's crazy because I saw that one. And I almost picked that one up too. Was Planet Coaster?
Planet Coaster.
Yeah.
The problem with Planet Coaster, it's a great game. The problem is the way that it was programmed is it uses your cores on your processor versus the graphics card. I believe
on my core too. Like
and so what happens is as your part gets bigger and it gets to the point where it's like 2,000 people or whatever, it starts slowing down. Like you start getting like massive frame drops on people who have like they have this on Reddit, like people who had like really good computers and graphics cards, like it was still like just slowing down for them. So that's the only part that sucks is like once you get to that point where it's like a really cool park, like you can't really play anymore. So that part's kind of disturbing, but other than that, it's a really fun game until you get to 2,000 people takes a while. Like there's a lot to do. So
wow.
Anyway, pass the torch.
Sorry. So I've been playing a couple of things. One of the things I picked up, both of these actually are on Xbox Game Pass. But they are available elsewhere as well. One of the things that I picked up was High on Life. And I'm not a Rick and Morty fan. Like, I don't have anything against Rick and Morty. Like, I've seen a couple of it. It's kind of funny here and there. I just don't watch it regularly. So I wouldn't call myself a Rick and Morty fan. And the guys who do the voices for Rick and Morty are in this. And, people are talking about like the gun talks to you all the darn time. And it's trying to do jokes. The funny thing is, it was trying to do jokes about walking through this tunnel, and there's these creatures that you see these creatures that I think you're talking to in the furbles that they're mining or whatever. You like run through this tunnel, and it's trying to talk about something about it. And then you actually I got out of the tunnel, and then all of a sudden the joke just cut off and it moved on to the next thing. So it was very funny where
you got way further than I did.
I'm past this. This is just some random stuff that I brought up because my footage was terrible.
This is completely different.
Yeah. But actually playing it's not half bad as a bit of a shooter, the platforming on it is not bad. Like when I jump to something, I feel like if I made or didn't make the jump, it was because of me, not because of some kind of weird esoteric mechanics or fuzziness or anything like that. Like I know that, okay, yes, I've got to run first, then I jump, then I dash in the air, then I would make that, amount of a leap. They actually showed a dash jump just a little bit ago on this. And then you increase the mechanics that you have available as you go through the game by purchasing things for your suit or picking up new of these Gatlings, which are the talking guns. In fact, one of the later Gatlings is very interesting because she shoots spikes, and then
that sounds dangerous.
And if you come up and you hit the spikes with your knife, the spikes then explode. Or you can do a charged up spike to hit somebody with it, what causes them to explode. The charged up spike will also go through certain obstacles and hit somebody on the other side of those obstacles, which is really great when they're demonstrated because one of the creatures is like shaking its butt at you and taunting you because it's behind this force field and you just shoot right through it. And then also on top of that, she slows down time in a bubble so you can jump across things that are moving fast. Or you can slow down time against enemies and shoot spikes into it. And when the bubble collapses, all the spikes explode. And this is just all the mechanics on one gun. And there are several guns. So it was...
What are those pulsing green things?
Those are... You shoot those and they make the fans fly out from the fan plants.
Okay, cool.
So which also are platforms you can jump on, but they have spikes on the end of them. So if you do it with an enemy there, it hurts an enemy and also launches them to the air. So, and your knife, not only do you use it as a knife for melee, but it's also like a grappling hook that can only grapple onto very specific things, like these hook bugs that are floating in the air and stuff like that. So it was really interesting because how was the knife pulling somebody's eyeball head out? Awesome. It was really interesting seeing that there was a decent amount of depth. There you go. That was another shot of it. That was great.
Nice.
There was a decent amount of depth to the gameplay in this that I was not expecting from just what I'd heard from everybody. It's not, I'm playing it on like regular mode, not like some advanced or anything like that, punishing mode or anything like that. But the mechanics aren't overly complex. They feel good. They make sense how they build them up. And it's just kind of fun to play. I've gotten like literally my partner turned around. She goes, "You must like that because you're still playing that game." I don't know how far I am. I'm definitely a lot out of the tutorial stuff. There's some humor that doesn't hit. There's some humor that's pretty good in it. You can sit down in your house because your house, the whole concept is these aliens like drugs. And a lot of them have found that other living aliens are their drug. So like we're in the planet where they mine furbles, I think it is, and furbles were the big drug. But then they found humans, and humans are even better of a drug. And they're like, oh my God, these humans are going to like put us right out of the furble business. We're just going to capitalize on these humans. So your house gets transported over as you try to escape. And since you're in your house, you have your TV there and you can watch your TV. It has the entire movie of Tammy and the T-Rex in this, which is about an 80s movie, has Denise Richards in it as a cheerleader. It has Paul Walker as a football player who these bullies kill, and his brain gets put into a mechanical T-Rex, and he goes around and killing the bullies.
Hold on.
And the entire movie is in this game, and you could just sit there and just watch the movie if you wanted to. And interestingly enough, I found out that there is other movies in here because there's like a movieplex that you can warp into certain areas, and you can go into the movieplex and you can watch a different movie in there. So entertaining, absolutely entertaining. Even if the humor isn't all that bad, you can, and I know Demiran has talked about High on Life on a previous episode. One of the things that we talked there was that you can turn down how much your gun talks to you.
Chatter.
Yeah, the chatter. I haven't done that yet because the chatter kind of naturally gets a little bit lower anyway once you get out of the tutorial-ish stuff. Again, I
didn't turn it down either.
Yeah. I didn't see any reason to.
I played, I left it on.
Yeah. I didn't see any reason to because
I feel like it's kind of the point of the game. Like that's the game is just supposed to be like I don't know. It's like it's the effective charm, if you want to put it that way, of the game. They put a lot of effort into that dialogue. So I feel like turning it down. I feel like if you have to turn it down, you're probably not going to enjoy the entire game anyways.
Yeah. Like even if you don't like some of the jokes that they're saying, or even if you don't like a lot of the jokes that they're saying, it still is part of the game and makes it entertaining in and of itself.
Yeah. It fits.
It fits oddly enough. So yeah, it's an interesting game. That is for sure. Oh yeah, that was one of the other guns. Oh, I missed him. This is right by your house.
That's not near my house.
Well, the house got transported. I mean, come on. Oh, this is inside your house. That's your sister, and then the alien that is teaching you how to be a bounty hunter.
Super fun.
Oh God, it's there's the Tammy and T-Rex in the background. You can just barely see the movie poster there.
I just IMDb'd it. So
yeah, crazy stuff. So yeah, that was one of the things I'm playing. I thought it was worth bringing up just because we did talk about it before, but
it had mixed reviews.
Yeah, no, I can see why. It's really divisive. Like if the humor doesn't hit with you, it could ruin the whole game for you, literally. The other game I was playing is called Opus Magnum. Now, if you like puzzle games, and maybe even like a little bit of like, Kelly, you've watched us play like Satisfactory and stuff like that.
Yeah, I have.
So this is 2D. You don't have to worry about 3D running around. And it's a puzzle game. And you start off with like, okay, I've got to make this thing. And the thing you make is in the upper left there. That's the product. And your regions are these 3 fire in this case, like these 3 fire marbles. And you can like move these marbles over certain thing to turn them into salt, which are at the 2 ends of that product there. That you see the 2 fire in the middle, the 2 ends are actually end up salt.
They're like molecular structures.
Kind of like a molecular structure. You can bond things together with special bonding plates. You have another plate that changes it from any element to a salt. So it changes it down to a base. You can triple bond, which is what they're pointing to right there. And you have robot arms that move the marbles from one place to another. And everything is considered like physical, so you can't move one physical object over another physical object either. You can't move a marble over a robot arm. You can't move a marble over a source element. So you have to create essentially this machine, this alchemical machine that will create this product at least 6 times.
Oh.
And once you place the things that you want, and you can, as you can see, you can set that bonding at an angle if you want. Once you place things, then each of your arms can have different instructions. Now they're arms that just grab and rotate, and the arm can rotate around, and it's on hexagonal, so it's 60 degrees at a time. Or it can rotate the object that it's holding. So it can rotate it around like a clock, or it can rotate the object within its grip, which has different uses. And you kind of have to puzzle out, okay, how am I going to do this? Here's the other cool thing. At the end, it compares your solution with other people's solutions on how many steps it took to complete, because each of the instructions is a step. Also, how much area that you're using up of the play area for your solution. What the cost was, because each of the items that they have over there costs certain amounts. So there's this idea of like, oh, you could come back later if you wanted to and really optimize this if you want. Okay, so he just placed a robot arm, moving that over there. Let's jump ahead a little bit closer. So he's like still playing around with placement. My footage came out really bad. So he's got a couple of robots' arms. So now he's actually placing instructions, rotate the arm or rotate the element, grab, release. There's even robot arms that'll extend out and rotate. So you can extend out or retract.
Yeah, I was trying to be into this, but like, that's not going to beat the not the country fried chicken thing.
There we go. So here it is.
You lost me at the science. I was like, there's elements and like trying to reduce. And
see what it did? It just grabbed 2 and then extended them out. So what he did
really
is
cool.
So what he did is he stepped through there and got it to where he created the product, but now he has to get the product over to the place where the product is going to like stay. So he's like, oh, and he messed it up. So, cause it didn't push it like he was expecting there. So he's like, oh, I didn't need to release it here. There's a reset. Yeah. It's definitely, you have to be in the right mindset for something like this.
Yeah.
There we go.
This is
there. Now he has a successful one. And now when it's successful, look at how smooth that is. It's just like boom, 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 boom. And it just makes 6 of these in a row. And it speeds up as it goes along. And then you're done. And then it gives you this readout here, cost, cycles, area. So his cost was about average. His cycles was about average, but his area was like a little bit better than average.
I'll tell you what, I'll pick it up and I'll try it.
I mean, you don't have to. If it's not your jam, it's not your jam.
I mean, I can see, like you said, Satisfactory and all those kind of like factory making games. Like I can see how that could be interesting. But if it's not too complex on the picking it up,
that one's still near the beginning, shortly after the tutorial. That one's probably like only 4 or 5.
And that already looked like my max, so
check it out. Like I had to play around with that one before I got it to where I like it. I had a completely different solution. Because that's the neat thing too, is there's so many different ways you can solve it.
Yeah.
You could brute force this with a lot of money and a lot of area and still get it solved and not have like that one was pretty elegant because it was all nice and compact together and it kind of flowed real naturally. But not all of them do. And it doesn't have to. It just has to get the job done. So kind of cool.
Heard that before.
You've done that before.
Well, that is our show for the day. So again, drop us an email or a comment below on what you thought about today's podcast. If there's anything that you want to comment on the AI subject, feel free to do that. I would love to hear your comments down below. So check that out. We have a website, sasgaming.com, patreon.com/sasgaming, and all the socials are out there as well. So,
Well, I mean, so we got what, one more podcast after this, and then the podcast after that will actually be at a comic convention. So what, 3 podcasts from now we'll probably talk about it.
Yeah. So
we all will
be looking out for that
at a convention together. Oh my god!
Yeah, 2 in a row probably too.
Maybe.
Well,
No.
what?
We'll see.
Yeah,
Don't jinx us.
Four of us at one and 3 at the other.
Yeah. So we'll tell you
Unless
more
Bruno's
about
gonna
that
surprise
as
us.
those days
I
come
like
closer.
surprises, especially for.
But until next
If
time,
it's the convention, I
guys.
think it is.
Until next time, guys. We love y'all. Stay safe and take care. See ya.
Oh, was Mike talking that whole time?